Let's talk about a distinction that can literally make or break your business. The difference between an IT vendor and a true IT partner. Now, I know what you're thinking. Aren't they the same thing? Well, stick around because we're about to show you why those two words are worlds apart. So, let me ask you this, and be honest. Take a look at your IT providers right now. Are they actually driving growth, or are they just fulfilling a contract? Is your tech an engine for your business, or is it an anchor holding you back? The answer is everything. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to dig into why this choice is so important, define what a vendor and a partner actually are, see what this looks like in the real world, give you a toolkit to spot the difference, and then look at the huge strategic payoff. So let's get right into it. Why does this matter so much? Because we're not just talking about words here. This isn't some debate for the server room. Choosing between a vendor and a partner is a high-stakes decision that echoes across your entire company. It hits three areas every leader cares about. First, your ability to actually innovate and get ahead of the competition. Second, your money. A real partnership is an investment that pays you back, while a vendor relationship, well, that can bleed you dry with hidden costs. And third, your growth. A partner helps you scale. A vendor, they can end up being the very thing that stops you. Okay. So let's cut through the noise. People throw the words vendor and partner around like they're interchangeable. They're not. They represent two totally different ways of thinking, and getting that difference is absolutely crucial. Look, it really just boils down to this. A vendor relationship, it's all transactional. It's about a specific project, a specific contract. But a partner, that's a strategic alliance. They're not just thinking about the project, they're thinking about your business outcome. One is about checking a box. The other is about helping you win. So what's a vendor? Officially, think of them as a supplier. They're there to deliver a product or a service, meet the absolute minimum requirements of the contract, and then they're pretty much done. The transaction is over. The research really puts it perfectly. A vendor sells you what you ask for. But hang on, think about what that really means. It means the burden of knowing exactly what you need. Well, that's 100% on you. They're just there to take the order. Now, a partner, that's a whole different ballgame. They're actually invested in your success. They collaborate, they share in the risks, and they're proactively looking for ways to help you succeed. It's like they're an extension of your own executive team. And this is the part I find most fascinating. A true partner will challenge your assumptions. They aren't afraid to say, hey, I know this is what you asked for, but is it really going to get you where you want to go? Their goal isn't just to make a sale, it's to make you successful. Okay, that all sounds good in theory, right? But what does a real partnership actually look like out there in the wild? And, how often do you even find one? Well, here's the kicker. They are incredibly rare. Research shows that while tons of companies call themselves partners, only about 5%, just 5, truly act that way. The other 95%, they're vendors, plain and simple. That scarcity makes finding a true partner a massive competitive advantage. Let's look at a real-world example, the city of Seguin, Texas. They were in a tough spot. Their network was old, putting critical city services at risk every single day, and their IT team was tiny. They had a huge problem and very few resources. So their provider had a choice. They could have been a vendor. Just install the gear and send the bill. But they acted like a partner. They dug in to understand the city's unique needs. They focused on the real goal, keeping services running, not just selling boxes. They even worked after hours during critical times without nickel and diming them. And they didn't just do the work, they helped the city's own team get smarter. The city's IT director said it best. They weren't just there to sell stuff and bail. They invested the time to build something that would last. And the results? A 40% drop in network problems, and brand new digital services for citizens, all without hiring more staff. That's the partner payoff. So you're probably thinking, okay, I want one of those. How do I find one of those rare 5%ers for my business? Well, the research from Virtualization Options LLC gives us a fantastic framework, a toolkit, really, for spotting a true partner in a sea of vendors. So the full analysis lays out 12 key questions you can ask. It's a really comprehensive checklist designed to cut right to the heart of how a provider operates. We're not going to go through all 12 right now, but let's zero in on the 6 most important ones. Here they are. 6 simple questions. Do they actually get your business goals or just the tech specs? Are they proactive, or do they wait for things to break? Do they have skin in the game with you? Do they listen more than they talk? Do they bring you new ideas? And finally, when something goes wrong, do they own it? A yes to these points, you toward a partner. A no, you've got a vendor. All right, so now we know how to spot a partner. Let's talk about the big finale, why it's so worth the effort. Because the long-term strategic payoff of finding a true partner is just massive. This is where it gets really compelling. A partnership gives you strategic wins that a vendor just can't touch. Your total cost of ownership goes down because a partner helps you avoid those dumb, expensive mistakes. You get more innovation because they're bringing you ideas from outside your bubble. And you get real future-proof scalability because they're building for where you're going, not just where you are. And if you need a number to hang your hat on, here it is. Companies with strong IT partnerships are a staggering 64% more likely to actually succeed at those huge game-changing projects. That's the difference between talking about transformation and actually doing it. And this quote from a COO says it all. Their partner wasn't selling them stuff for today. They were helping them build a 5-year roadmap. And because of that, they saw a market shift coming 2 years before anyone else. They were already prepared to win. That's what a partnership looks like. So in the end, it really comes down to this. The relationships you invest in today are what will define what you're capable of tomorrow. You can take a transactional approach, and you'll get transactional results. Or you can build a strategic partnership and unlock a real strategic advantage. The choice is yours. So I'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. When you look at the people you work with, the companies you rely on, who are you building with? Vendors or partners? Because your future really does depend on the answer.